Put your shoes on, we got a long walk home. And grab your pitchfork and your torch, it's a long dark road. And if you stay close to me, we'll make it through the night. You know the monsters come out when they see the street lights.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to an all-new episode of Everyday Voices of the Paranormal. I'm Reverend Jamie McCaskill.
I'm John Campbell.
And with us today we have Reverend Dan Todd. And because we have my dear brother Reverend Dan Todd on here, this episode is sponsored by the Order of Exorcists, who I am affiliated with. I'm also through them. They're a part of the Sacred Order of St. Michael under the authority of Archbishop Ron Fail Enright out of California. It's a Catholic, it's an independent Catholic organization, but it also has, like in my case, and I believe yours as well, right, Dan, with separate churches as well.
Yes.
So you can find it under orderoftheexorcist.com. It's a good place if you're someone who's seeking help with demonic cases, where you can go and you can find caring people like us who's willing to help and are closer to your area. This is an international order, so guys, go check them out.
I believe it's in like 26 countries.
Yeah.
Like
they recently had like an African one, didn't we?
What's that you cut out?
Didn't they just recently had like an African church on there?
No, I believe there's been a few African churches in the past. I know he just updated everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not. The directory might not include. I mean, I think that he's got two directories. One's the international directory. One's the U.S. directory. So I mean, I only have the U.S. directory because that's all I deal with.
Well, yeah, me too.
So I have a question for both of you, real quick.
Okay.
I've heard of the term demonologist. Now, basically, is that someone just has a far knowledge of demons?
As far as I know, the demonologists, they just know a lot more. They research demons. Some of them can do like we do, but the majority of them, like, they just know that they have the knowledge. I've never really bumped into one. I know that actually, what's his name they used to be part of TAPS. They were demonologists, but they also did what we do too.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I mean, usually a demonologist is a religious demonologist. I mean, a lot of them are reverends or have something to do with the church for obvious reasons. But I mean, it's really you just study demons for how many years, and I guess if you've been doing it for like 10, 15 years, you can call yourself a demonologist, but I always
there's
say
no official test.
No, there's no. It's just like paranormal investigator. There's really no official test,
Yeah.
I heard Bishop say, a demonologist is somebody who has experience in the field investigating cases.
That's true.
Gotcha. I've met him. Nice guy.
So you may be book smart, but if you're not street smart, as I call it, yeah,
And then, like, people often will
like,
ask me, like, what's like even Dan's asked me, like, why I call myself a deliverance minister. It's just to stay away from that stigma of the word exorcist, which me and him were talking about that recently too.
Yeah.
So, Dan, how long have you been doing this, as far as a reverend?
God. I think I was ordained in 2016. Didn't really do much with up until 2020, end of 2021, when I got into the order, because I heard. Okay, I've been a paranormal investigator for 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, in that 23 years, I've investigated houses, I've investigated other stuff, private locations, the wellness stuff. locations on TV. You know, I've done all that, and I took a break for about a year and a half. Around time COVID hit, which really wasn't really
Same.
a break because you couldn't really do anything anyway.
Right.
Right.
You know, so when I came back, I got a call one night at around 2 o'clock from a girl who said she was possessed. Okay. I really wasn't a you know, into the demon thing at that point. You know, just an investigator. I figured out what the hell I'll take. You know,
Right.
check it out. Turns out she did have a production, and we were able to free her from it. But it was actually really easy to do this, and I don't know. I check in with her every now and then. I'm just not convinced that it's all gone, but she says it is. I don't know. She hasn't had it in a while, but I don't know. But I always try to keep track of, you know, what's going on with my clients and all that. But anyway, going back to that.
What is the, I don't know, creepiest thing you've witnessed doing one? I'm sure listeners are probably like, want to know that.
I'll let him go.
Well, I can't really say because I don't get creeped out very easily.
Yeah.
My background comes from fire and EMS. I was a firefighter for 20 years, so you got to have a strong stomach and be, I guess I don't know the word I'm looking for, but brave, basically. You know, to run into a burning building when somebody's running out.
Yeah.
You know, so as far as creepy goes, I'm not one really creeped out very much. I mean, you know, I just look at the thing and laugh.
Was there anything that made you raise your eyebrows like, wow?
No, never. I mean, you know, you hear about it all the time. You expect it. You expect the levitation. You expect dislocations of something. You expect, you know, all these things that you read about and you learn about and stuff like that. Like I said, you're all, you know, I don't care who you are. You could be an exorcist for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. And I'm sure if you ask Bishop Ron File Enright, he'll say the same thing. He's been doing this 40-something years. I guarantee he's still learning stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, if you call yourself an expert, time to get out. But going back, you know, I mean, I don't know. You know, like I said, I can't really answer that because it's just one of those things that I creep out very easily. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not really afraid of much. As I tell people, I'm afraid. The biggest things I'm afraid of are taxes and politicians.
I don't blame you.
I think with the creep, like me, being from my police background, like I still get, like, people still worry me. I still get afraid of people. If a person is in front of me threatening me, I do get worried. But I think the creepiest thing I've had is not really you can't even consider it creepy. It's like when I'm faced with it, like when it pops up in my face, like every time that somebody's become possessed in front of me, I don't feel anything. Like, I literally feel nothing. It's the weird. And then later on, somebody will go, "Well, didn't you feel, like, didn't it scare you?" And then it dawns on me. It's like, wait a minute, no, it didn't. Like, but you really can't call that creepy. You know, it's weird. It's just it's something weird where you feel absolutely nothing.
Well, I was talking about more like languages, you know, different languages, or like objects moving, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, you know my stories on that, but
no, I mean, as far as language goes, I really haven't had. I haven't had the experience of a solemn exorcism where it, you know, where you what you see on TV.
Right.
You know, knock on wood. I haven't had one of those yet. I'm sure that most of my cases lately have been mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and him both had that one.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to that case I was talking about before, my first case after my break, you know, the demon would manifest, and I would just stare at it. Really, I'd stare at it, smile, and it would get pissed off and go away. It wasn't really strong. It said
Mm-hmm.
it said it was its name was I don't know if you want me to say the name,
Go ahead.
but it said its name was Beelzebub.
Oh, gotcha.
Do I believe that?
No.
No, because like I said, it was just too easy to get rid of.
It was weak.
I'm dealing with a case now
Probably a foot
where
soldier
I
type.
believe he's involved. Yeah, probably. I believe he's involved. I have one of the case I'm working with now is a fallen angel case.
Oh, Indian, a native. Is that what you said?
That?
No, it's a fallen angel.
No.
Oh, fallen. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, Rio, when we were I was on your watching your podcast the other day, and I was messaging. Was that day before yesterday?
Friday.
Yeah, there was a guy. You probably noticed I got real quiet when that one guy popped up on there. That I forget what his screen name was.
Yeah. It was Asmodeus, Prince of
Lust. Yeah, but I got real quiet because 2 out of 3 of the demonic cases that I dealt with not that long ago were all Asmodeus. Like the one that I think I told you about, the one I called out by name was Asmodeus. There was a lady here in town. Yeah, as soon as I recognized the signs, so I called it out by name, and it growled and looked at me, and so I got real quiet about that one because I was like, that's just weird that somebody popped on with that screen name while you were doing your show, and I was listening and watching.
That something Dan said about always learning new things and stuff like that. It made me think of investigating.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something new to learn, whether it's technique, gear, and I've always said there are no 100% experts in the paranormal.
Mm-mm.
Oh no, people claim that, and like I said, if you come across somebody who claims that, run the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
you can have experience.
ones that are going to get you hurt.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you can have experience, but no one truly 100% beyond a doubt knows everything.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said in that one episode, that one podcast I was on a while back, it's like, I don't want. He said, "Well, what if you're ever the guy that proves it?" I said, "I don't want to be that guy."
Yeah, because the only way to prove it is to die, basically.
Well, no,
almost.
if you were able to prove it, you would be the most hated man in the paranormal field, because not only would you prove the existence, you would prove your style was right.
There's one guy I used to be friends with, and we're no longer friends. But he supposedly died 52 times. He got a heart condition, and on the way to the hospital, they shocked him 52 times.
Wow.
Transferring him from a hospital in, I forget, it was Pennsylvania to New Jersey or New Jersey to Pennsylvania, I forget. But they shocked him 52 times and stuff. And he said there really wasn't much to his experience other than it was like a gray setting with a light one end.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess the light at the end of the tunnel is true. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, as far as he goes, I don't believe him. I don't believe much of what he says anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's like me. I have an experience, but even John will tell you, even I don't say it's a near-death experience. It was a weird one, but what I experienced was death, let's say. I was literally sitting in an old wooden church, like with a lot of people watching a stage that was empty, and people were getting up individually, going up, looking at a book, and then going either left or right. So whether or not was just my mind, like because I was asleep, I don't know. It just was a weird experience that I had. So I don't know. I guess we'll never know till we get there.
Yeah, it's like one of those dreams that felt so real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of those usually before cases.
Mm-hmm.
Before I accept a case or something.
I have a question. Like, as an investigator, the first case I ever had with the demonic, it happened by accident. When I first formed the group, we always said we'd never do those cases. And
yeah, we all do.
Well,
everybody says that.
Yeah, and I meant it. But one case came up on Facebook. She messaged me, then we called, talked, and I had known her for over 20 years. We ended up going there, and I tell you what, they were cunning, because when we investigated, I got a total of 9 EVPs. They all sounded human, normal haunting. She was happy that we caught something to verify that she'd been hearing things. Other than that, it seemed normal. And so we decided to do a follow-up a few weeks later, and my recorder alone jumped from like 80 EVPs to almost 50. And there were a lot more guttural, growling voices. And I noticed things start happening at my house, at my work. My leg would get grabbed. It would get smacked when I'm laying in bed. My light bulbs would get twisted, and I got followed all over. And I'm just like, wait, this can't be normal. This isn't... I've never experienced... Like, I had done investigating years before that. Never have I experienced something like that. We her house ended up having to get exorcised 2 times by 2 different bishops. And after the second one, everything stopped. For me, for her, it was insane. But ever since then, like, we investigated a few more times after the second one too, because we didn't know. We had no idea what we were dealing with. And I don't know if you know anyone that does this, but we have a member that does out-of-body experience, astral projection. He's done it hundreds of times. Mm-hmm. And he got permission from her to do her house. And he actually was successful. And he went there. And he said there's multiple human entities there, but then he's seen a shadow entity. In that realm, if you see a shadow entity or something with an oblong head or arm, he's like, it's not human. He's seen a shadow run up the stairs. He tried to follow it, and it was powerful enough to knock him back into his own body. After that, I was like, okay, I don't think we're dealing with something human here.
No, doesn't sound like. It almost sounds like the case I'm working right now.
Yeah, but I tell you what, after that, we were on Paranormal Survivor for that what happened there. After that, cases started coming in that were similar. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you're labeled an exorcist or demon team, a demonic team, like that, they just come out of the woodwork.
Yep.
After that, after all those what happened, like, nothing is really creeps you out as much. Mm-mm. I've noticed that. Like, I'm not as scared. Or you know.
Well, like I said, going back to my days as a fire. You can't really be afraid to go into the fire. You got to respect the fire. Mm-hmm. Well, by respecting the fire, you're respecting Satan. And I know if you go back a couple episodes on Paranormal Happy Hour, you can. There's a picture of a fire that was near my house. It happened near my house, and about 6 or 7 years prior, I was at the same location in the same building, just the opposite side of the building for a fire. But this fire, somebody took a picture, and you can clearly make out it. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, the horns, and everything. And I show it a few times on my happy hour.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's I can't tell you which episode. I have to go back and look.
I can't remember either.
I'm sure future episodes it'll be. Actually, go back to one with Bishop Ron. I know I showed him one of them. I showed him it. I just don't remember what episode it was. It was the last season 1 episode. But yeah, I mean, you gotta respect. You gotta respect them as well as to defeat them.
That's what fire. With fire, it's one of those things. Right? It goes back. Backdraft had the perfect little scene describing
so
the fire.
unpredictable too. Like, oh
yeah.
Yep. Fire's unpredictable, and basically so are demons. I mean, you can
And they're
you
cunning.
think you outsmart them, but you're not exactly. In fact, if you check out my Facebook, my one profile page, Reverend Dan Todd, SOSM, I post stuff from different people that I find on TikTok and Exorcists and stuff like that, and videos from YouTube and stuff like that. There's actually a good video I posted the other day about what's his name in Indiana, Father Lampert, Vincent Lampert.
Oh,
was doing
yeah.
an interview.
That's the guy I watched a lot.
Yeah. You can you watch him, Father Dan Hill, Bishop James Long.
Yeah.
I know him.
I
met him.
There's a few different exorcists out there that you can watch. And best part is about watching the different exorcists is everybody's experience is not the same.
Right.
So one may have one experience with the same demon, another may have a different one with the same demon. So it's not like it's the same story.
Right.
So
It's one of them where a lot of people think that demons are over a certain thing, and they're not. Like they all work for the same guy. If he tells them to go do something, they're
What
going
I
to go
found
do it.
as investigating, and I don't know if you guys would agree with me, like we have said they are cunning, and they are. Like the first investigation we did, they acted human, but they are also egotistical.
Oh yeah.
Like they have big egos. That's why
if
the
you ever
second
want to
time,
get one,
there.
if you ever want to get one to come out, all you really got to do is tell it that it's ugly.
Call what?
Tell it it's ugly.
That it's ugly. They will. I can't tell you how fast they will show themselves or do something or anything like that. I've used that a couple times, and it's just like instantaneously. If you got that doubt, you'd be like, get your ugly ass out, and show yourself. And especially like Jezebel. Jezebel will do that real quick.
But see, we were talking. Well, of course, I wasn't able to talk because I was at work, but I was able to message through your thing. John bumped the table.
Yep. Sorry.
What a lot of people don't realize, they think that demons are loud and boisterous a lot of times, and a lot of times, like every time I've gone against them, they're quiet because they don't want you to find them.
They like to act like little kids.
Yes.
They want to hide. They want to hide in the shadow and behind mental illness.
Yep. They love to hide. They like John was saying, they usually appear to the people that they're messing with as little kids because it's something that we want to protect. And that goes back to, like, and John will tell you, I've told this to a lot of people when I go visit them. I always tell them, I'm like, it's because they're a defeated army. They're running and hiding. They're weak, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's true. They're hiding because they're weak. They've lost, and they know. And if
I call them cowards.
Yeah, because somebody like me or you goes in there.
What they are, it's cowards.
Exactly.
They portray themselves as these big bad demons. I did an exorcism time. It was Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I was calling him all kinds of names. I was calling him Lucy.
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 That's great.
And it was pissing him off. But there's nothing he could do about it because we were in a church, and he just had no power. In fact, I actually made him bow to Jesus. In the church we were in, it was a French church out in Pennsylvania.
Is it that time of month, Lucy?
Yeah, basically. But I was calling him all kinds of names, just like making him,
That's great.
bring it down. But in the church we were in, they had a big picture of Jesus over the altar, hanging up on the ceiling, on the wall, and so I made him bow to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And right after, as soon as I did that, he was gone.
That's awesome.
I've never heard you talk about that. That's cool.
That case is still kind of ongoing because he's got more there. We just haven't been able to hook back up to between schedules and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
one of these days we'll get back up there.
Going back
Get
to
the rest of them out.
them using as kids, the one case I was on that I talked to you guys about, there was we did an Estes, and I heard a boy say cold, and I'm like cold, and on my recorder I caught a little boy say I'm cold, right at the same time,
Wow.
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, little kid, really?
They love to use that. Anything to, and
They
old people
will,
too.
Yeah, they'll mimic voices. They'll mimic certain things.
One of the hardest things with a lot of people that I found personally are when the demon uses its own knowledge, because a lot of people don't think that they watch us constantly. So you'll go, oh, well, that has to be grandma. Why does it have to be grandma? Because it told me something only grandma knew. You think it didn't know that?
Right.
You know, that's one of the ones you'll run. I don't know. Have you run into that one before?
Knowing something that they shouldn't.
Yeah, I have. But I tell everybody because when a case comes in, what we do is we video chat because I record the interview. So story and all that, and depending on what's going on, I don't like to tell people, that I am who I am, because other than like, the chief investigator of the paranormal team, because it influences the investigation
Yeah.
and stuff, but I had, they said that, oh, my grandmother has, said this, and only she knows this, and I don't tell them right off the bat, but it sticks in the back of my mind,
Yeah.
because I'm not one of those guys who will who will take a case and turn around and say, oh, it's demonic
Right.
right off the bat without investigating it. I do get a lot of cases like that. I've gotten 3 so far like that. And 2 of them I refused to investigate because there was no evidence, there was no investigation done yet. And I just don't have time to investigate other people's cases.
Right.
One of them was in Toronto.
Wow.
They wanted, yeah. The investigator lived in Florida. The case was in Toronto. And she wanted me to fly to Toronto to do an exorcism on these people without investigating.
Wow. What do you do if someone refuses to get on the phone with you or video call you? Do you just turn them down?
Not really much I can do. I mean, I can't force them to talk to me.
Right.
If they only text.
I think he's like me. I think Dan would turn them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I am.
There are. It really depends.
You want us to come to your private house, yet you won't get on the phone with us.
I actually had that not too long ago. In fact,
So have we.
Yeah,
That's
we've been
why I was
doing one
asking.
like that.
spring, I want to say. A girl in New Jersey here, not far from where I live, wanted me to do an exorcism on her because she claimed that she made a deal with the devil and she wanted to marry the guy. And long story short, it turned out to be mental health, but she would not allow us to go to her house. We actually had to meet her at the church out in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to that because I got stuck working that day. So I wasn't able to go to that case, but this guy I work with, he went out there and he took care of the case, interviewed her and all that. But it really, that case, I took it because it sounded interesting. Regardless of how it was, whether it was demonic or mental health. It was an interesting story.
So
What
you say.
I guess. What's that?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's, it's really, the story is interesting. I may go a little further with it and work it as best I can. But as far as, I have the, James probably recognize the case. There's a case out in Oregon that we got through the order. I don't know if you got the email or not.
Yeah.
This was a while back, and girl said her heart is pumping at 10%.
Yes, I remember that one.
And so I had no cases going on, so I called her, see if maybe she can come out to Jersey, and we can work with her a little bit and see what's going on. But she can't. She doesn't have a job. She lost her job. She lost her house. She lost her car. You know, and all this. Her heart's only pumping at 10%. All right, well, let's do this. We'll work with you virtually and see what happens. Well, she comes up with all kinds of excuses. I told her, we need you to get a psychological exam, a medical exam, and I want a stress test from your cardiologist. Because when you're doing an exorcism, your heart is under immense stress.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to have a medically trained doctor or equivalent for a case, which happens to be me as well. And I was talking to her, and she got nasty with me and like started calling me all these names and stuff. And it was true that she is possessed. It was probably the demon, but I'll never know because I can't get out there right now.
Right.
No.
And that's one of the downfalls of what we do is finding the people. If someone's listening who wants to be part of the order, if you're already like that, actually I think they offer classes, doesn't he? Doesn't the bishop offer classes?
He does through St. Michael's Seminary classes or something like that.
Yeah.
If you go on the website, orderofexorcists.com, it's on there. It's I think it's like 5 or 6 classes.
Yeah.
Each class is like $250 a class, or $100 for all of them at once. I mean, you take one at a time, but you can do it one class at a time, $250 each class.
Yeah. We need more people.
You can do. Oh yeah, we need more. You can do. I always tell everybody to take his class and Bishop Long's demonology 1.
Yeah.
Do you have to be a reverend?
No.
No, it helps, but no.
Yeah, it helps, but at this point, I think we're just looking for as many people as we can get.
Well, you can ask Jamie. I have a strong belief in God, so
Yeah, he's been helping me for a while.
Well, that you do need. That you do need.
yeah.
There's a strong belief in God. I mean, I work with a few different people. I got a couple pagans on my that I work with, just because there are those cases that can't be solved by exorcism alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And if somebody's doing a witchcraft spell on them, my witch on the team might be able to counteract it. So
Now, we already recorded it, so people just know we record these. We put them up out of order. We were just doing an episode on nightmares, and we were talking about how demons influence nightmares. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when I first did this, I used to do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I always come out the winner.
Yeah. Because I was telling John. I was telling John, about one, because like I contacted you as soon as I woke up, because you're like the closest person I could talk to, and I told you about the one that I had. It's just that they still try.
Oh yeah, well, you and I are both marked because of who we are. So we're gonna be that target.
Yeah.
And stuff.
We're like a lighthouse in the dark.
Our families. Oh yeah, I actually did a minor rite on my house.
Mm-hmm.
Because people that I don't get along with decided they're going to open up a portal in my house, and unfortunately, it was actually kind of funny because they opened it in my toilet.
Oh wow!
Of all places, But and for a long time, for a couple of years, we just let it go because we just didn't really pay much attention to it until recently. Things just started happening more, and my lights would flicker. And in fact, my lights were flickering yesterday.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
That's a big sign. I have that all the time.
Yeah, and But I closed that portal with the minor right. But I mean, it was, who the hell opens a portal in a
So
toilet?
let me get this straight. You were basically sending your crap to them.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way. Yeah.
Here you go.
What gets me, man, like is like all the attacks that we get. Sometimes it's some of the funniest stuff. Like I told you, I think I've had my door slam, like blow open and slam at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Now the bishop, he's had some interesting ones. Has he told you some of the ones that's happened to him?
Yeah, the one that sticks out in my mind is the one he got from across the pond. I forget what country it was from. I think it might have been the Philippines. It was a case in, and he was going through the evidence. And this black dot on his computer showed up and went across the screen. And later on, it manifested in his garage. Or I think it was his garage, and it was the demon coming through the evidence.
Wow. Now, yeah, I haven't heard that one. Wow.
Yeah.
He was telling me. He told me about the one about the. Sorry about to cut you off, but the lamp. Did he tell you about the lamp?
He might have.
He was in his kitchen, like cooking breakfast or something, and he said in his kitchen, you go down a little bit and to the right, you had to turn down a hall, and he had this lamp that sat on a table, and he said that the only way that this could happen was for that lamp to be lifted up and carried around that corner and thrown. He said it's just that lamp come flying at him from off that table, and it flew at him and shattered. Yeah.
I believe with some of the things he's seen over the years. I mean, he's been doing this for almost 50 years.
Yeah.
You can ask Jamie. As an investigator, I have a test. Like, if someone claims it's, demonic, I want to talk to them on the phone when they're home. And because I've done multiple cases that have dealt with them, they already know me too. So if they're non-human and I'm talking to her on the phone at home, they're going to know where I'm at. And things will start happening.
True.
Even before I've been there.
That's knowledge of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And human spirits won't know that, where I'm at.
Right.
So that's a test I like to do. But we had a case recently that it seems like she refuses to talk to us on the phone. It's like, I don't understand it. Like, why? We're willing to go out there. But
yeah. Well, depending on where the case is and
it's like an hour.
I mean, I've had people yell at me, scream at me. I called one lady, sent me an email. I called her. I finally got in touch with her after like a month, and she's like, "I never sent you an email." I'm looking at the email right now. Your email address is this. This is what you wrote. This is where you live. She's like, this is your phone number. I mean, how do you think I got your phone number?
Yeah.
And she's yelling and screaming at me. I'm like, all right, you know what? That's fine. You don't want help. That's it. I'm not gonna.
That's what I told him, Jamie. I'm like, if she's not willing to do this, she don't want help.
Yep.
It's a simple phone call.
Because with us, it's kind of a.
Exactly.
With me and him, it's become kind of a safety thing. We've actually had people, in
That's
the
another
past,
thing,
that's contacted us wanting us to go to. They gave us an address, and they called us from a number, and it turned out to be a burner phone. They were trying to get us to go there basically to rob us, because when we were doing the research, what we found was an empty parking lot.
Downtown Toledo.
Yeah, it was in downtown Toledo, an empty parking lot.
Well, there's your first clue right there.
I looked that up.
Yeah.
I told Jamie, I'm like, this is a parking lot downtown.
She waited how long? Like it was like a week after we didn't go, and she called me again, and she's like, "You guys didn't show up." I was like, "You didn't give us a house. You told it was a parking lot," and I said, "We couldn't call you. Your phone was turned off." And she goes, "Oh my, I was out of minutes, and that's not our address. I was going to meet you there." And I was like, "We need your physical address. We don't need a parking lot. If we can't do research on your house if we don't know where you live."
That's why I do the virtual interviews.
I think they wanted to rob us.
Yeah.
It very well could be, which is why I usually, depending on where I'm going. Like we went to a case in Irvington, New Jersey, and I don't know if you know anything about Jersey, but like the eastern side of Jersey, like Irvington, Newark, that area, Bergen County, it's not a very good area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to this house, and it was only three of us. We knocked on this door, and this lady's, oh, my landlord is putting a curse on me, and this and that. I'm like, all right, we could we could check it out. Well, the landlord lived downstairs. It was illegally, the apartments were illegally built.
Ooh.
They were not up to fire code. They were, and I always think of the Black Friday fire in New York City when I see that. And we were literally outside, and the landlord comes out, starts screaming at us and shit. Now, mind you, I know the area. I had my 45 with me because I know the area.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it. Luckily, I didn't have to pull it, but I had it in my waist, in the small of my back, just in case. But this guy, I'm gonna call the cops on you. All right, call the cops on me. I don't give a crap.
Mm-hmm.
Cops never showed up.
All bravado.
The cops never showed up. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sitting here waiting. Goodbye. Oh, you can't leave. The hell I can't.
What gets me, man, like, I've run into that. I've never had like the landlord come out and yell at me, but I've had like I had one once where we set up the case. We went and then we did the walkthrough. This wasn't, of course, a demonic case. This was just a regular case.
Yeah.
But we went and we did the walkthrough, and we walked around talking with the couple. And then it was a couple of days later, we were supposed to go back, and the husband called and said, the landlord said if we show up on the property, he's going to have us arrested. And being a former cop, I went, for what? You invited us, But of course, we didn't go because we didn't want no trouble. But, man, that's...
Yeah. It's really not much the landlord can do if you're invited.
Yeah. But,
It's like that one case that we were sent through the order up in upstate New York and stuff. We contacted her about that. We did our virtual interview, and we really didn't find anything demonic. I mean, she claims this stuff. She claims she's possessed. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We were supposed to go up there yesterday, but one of my team members' daughters tried to commit suicide earlier in the week.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, you know what? I canceled it so she can be with her daughter, and take care of that. But I held off for a month because she said she was schizophrenic. She's not taking her medicine and all that. So I'm like, all right, well, nobody's going up there by themselves, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, being she claims she's schizophrenic, she's diagnosed with this. I want to speak, we have to speak to her counselor at that point. So I got in touch with her counselor, and her counselor is like, yeah, she's not taking her meds, and we're changing her meds, and this and that. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to let her take her meds for a month, and then we'll reevaluate. So a month goes by, and she's texting me every day. She was at one point, she sent me a picture. He was butt naked in the picture. In a mirror, saying there was writing on the mirror. And I'm like, ugh. And mind you, I'm at work, and I just finished my lunch.
Oh, no.
Okay? I just finished eating lunch. I got this. I opened it up, like, oh, come on.
How old was she?
It's not. Yeah, you don't want to know.
Oh, no.
Let's put it this way. She's about 20 years older than I am.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, wow.
So, but she, every day she texted me more different things, and the story's changed 4 times. She changed her phone number 4 times. I think the current story is her landlord is doing it to her now. So I don't know if I think it's mental health. But,
I do too.
Yeah, it sounds
from what I've
like
heard.
But we're gonna go up there. We're gonna go up there and just investigate it real quick, and because she's also offering us money. Yeah,
but
she's actually bribing us. She's actually bribing us to get up there sooner.
Be careful.
And all that. Oh yeah. Oh, like I said, I don't go anywhere without my knife. Yeah. I always carry a pocket knife. just because of what I do at work and stuff. But I never leave home without it. I mean, if you go in my truck, you'll probably find about every knife I've lost in my truck.
If it is demonic, I think this will be the first case I've ever heard of them changing their phone numbers.
Right?
Yes.
I mean,
let's change it.
But you know what the worst thing is? She's like, "Oh, you never answer." I'm like, "Yeah, because you're texting me in the middle of the night."
Right.
And it's a number I don't
I'm
recognize.
I remember that one.
Yeah, like.
Imagine
like,
a demon sitting around going, let's change the numbers.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly.
Man.
So I got to reschedule that one, but we're gonna go up there and investigate it, and I'm thinking it's more mental health than anything.
One thing I do like about being part of the order, John, is like when we get calls for cases, and I'm not going to mention no names or nothing specific, but me and him dealt with the same lady about a month.
Yeah.
That was you were going to go with me to that one. It was going to be it was in Kentucky. It was down south. It was south of here.
Oh, not the one I was talking about. The other one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
That date. Oh my God! Even Bishop Long went there.
Yep. Bishop Long went there.
Bishop
James.
Long went there because I contacted him when she told me that, and I asked him, if he could tell me anything about it. And his first thing he texted me back is, "She is not possessed. Do not do an exorcism," in all capital letters.
Yeah, she was. It was all mental.
I did an interview
yeah.
with him, James Long, Bishop.
You did?
Yeah, and he talked to me too, and I talked about the cases I've been on and like how I never wanted to do them, but they just keep falling in my lap for some odd reason. And he's just like, maybe it's your calling, and he's like, are you worried, about your safety? And I'm like, no, I'm more worried about the client and my group more so than myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you care about others. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Maybe
well,
God's calling you to service. I mean,
I tell you what, after that first case, I was born a Buddhist. After that first case, you can ask Jamie, my belief in God is now 100%.
Yeah. I've been coaching him, guiding him, if you will.
Now, I have a holy kit now with a Bible, holy water. I have a crucifix, stuff like that, salt, everything.
oh, man, I carry a whole church in my bag.
Me too. You can ask him. Me too. Mine's pretty heavy, and I got a backpack with more in it.
I have a laptop bag that I carry all my sacramentals and stuff in, and then I'll have like books and stuff that I need in there, and I usually end up going into a backpack as well.
Me too.
In addition to that.
One thing I do tell people that are scared, and I've told many people this, and I don't know if you guys will agree, probably, I don't know. Don't be scared of them because they truly have no power over our souls.
Mm-hmm.
Only God does.
Basically. Yep.
We can't even, like some people say, I sold my soul, but it's not your soul to sell.
Yeah, your soul don't belong to you.
It's God's. But your actions,
You lease your soul.
right? But while you're here in the
It's like
physical
leasing
realm,
a car.
they can mess with you. But don't be scared because your soul belongs to God.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Well, they don't even have to. You don't even have to be like near them to mess with you. I mean, I haven't. It's not happened. It hasn't happened to me, but I've had people call me and say that, oh, I'm here and I got, I did this, and I've heard stories of different things, where they're messing with people and they're not even possessed.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more of like an infestation, oppression type thing. Probably more oppression.
I'm glad he brought that. I'm glad he brought up the steps.
Yes,
like
there
a
are
lot
steps,
of a lot of people. Well, a lot of even some deliverance ministers or
Possession being the
exorcists,
worst.
they forget one step. They'll go wait straight to like you were talking about the steps, the infestation, then the oppression, and then the possession. A lot of people leave out the temptation because they always tempt you first. And that way they have something on you to kind of poke at you with. Like, remember when you did this?
Yep.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
In all the
in
years
that,
I've been
in that
doing
case, I'm
stuff,
screwed because of all the crap I've done in my younger and stupid years.
yeah.
in all the years I've been doing I've never ran into an actual possession yet. But I have infestation, oppression, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you, if they wanted to go into my past, they'd have a plethora of things. Like, with Jamie and his Barbie dolls.
He was picking on me earlier about Barbie because I was talking about a dream I had when I was a kid that involved a Barbie doll. It was really dumb. You have to listen to that episode when we put it up. As I'd mentioned, I'm retitling it Nightmares. It was going to be about the back rooms, but
Nice. Hey, you want to talk about dolls? I have a whole storage unit full.
yeah,
Oh, no.
he's got the
really?
haunted dolls. Yep.
Yeah, I got a storage unit full of haunted dolls, a couple Tippett boxes. I have a brand new camera that was thrown at me. The first case I did when I came back. What else? I got a bunch of mirrors. I have one mirror that still has an open portal to it.
Wow.
Yeah, I do accept them. You want to send me stuff, I'll take it.
Jamie has
Better.
some items as well. I don't know
I
where
got
they're
a
at.
few. They're in Tracy's house somewhere. I have
word.
I have
Somewhere.
a
Fire.
Oh, boy.
I have a Barbie doll. Funny enough,
Oh, yeah.
I've got
Coincidence? I think not.
the one I have one that's missed. I have one thing that actually disappeared. I think I told you about it. The Mickey Mouse, the little stuffed Mickey that I got from a house. The lady said she had thrown it away, but it keeps coming back. So I took it home and I set it on my TV stand, and I don't know where it went.
It's with her.
Probably.
I guarantee it. I would put money on it that it's with her. No joke.
Yeah, I would say that. In that case, you'd have to find it.
Yeah.
You'd have to ask her if she has it.
Well, I don't know. I haven't talked to that lady in forever.
I bet it's
Yeah.
with her. It would not surprise
That
me
would
one
be
bit.
funny. Because I know I took it. I had it on my TV stand for a long time. Like, he would fall off on the floor. I'd pick him back up and put him back up there. Because I was wanting to keep an eye on him. I wanted him where I could see him. But I kept him right there on that TV
And
stand.
now he's gone.
Yeah, that's been years ago. Yeah.
Kind of like the elf on the shelf.
But I had.
Or in your case,
But,
Barbie on the shelf.
I used to bring them home. Up until things started happening. What actually happened was I just wanted to read a book on the occult, and they wrote.
So now you got them in a
when it's-
storage
when-
unit.
Yeah, well, when it showed up at my house, the book showed up with friends,
Oh.
and it had an attachment with it. So I took it. That's when I moved. That is when I moved all the haunted stuff out. I only have one thing that could be haunted in my house, and that is a 4 or 5 foot crucifix hanging on my wall.
Yep. That's beautiful. You ought to see it.
Question. Do you guys think... Okay, just us sitting here talking about stuff. Could that summon anything to us, in your opinion? Like, we're just sitting here, like, as friends talking. In my opinion, I don't think we're doing anything wrong.
No. They probably gather around us watching us, though, but they're always doing that.
Oh yeah.
Well,
as far as
especially you
summoning
two.
goes- yeah. As far as summoning goes, I don't. Unless somebody's doing it.
What about
To
watching
us, I
videos
don't-
on YouTube?
That's one of them where I was talking about earlier with nightmares. So I think it's our minds are open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard.
Actually, you were just talking about that
That you
Friday.
Yeah, I was actually.
What's that?
Well, no, I was more talking. I was more talking about on Friday was paranormal investigators doing their YouTube shows on their YouTube channel, and just going out and doing stupid shit.
There,
You know,
there's this
the one that I did, the one that I showed on Friday night was they went to the Sally house.
Mhm.
And they were doing a seance, and the lead investigator, whatever his name is, Colin, I think his name is, goes, you can use our energy and step into somebody else's body and do that. We'll allow that. And I'm like, really?
What made me
You
laugh?
go to a known demonically infested house,
And you
and you
invite
say
them.
that? Yeah.
I
right?
got
So
I got
then-
looked at so funny, man, when I was laughing.
right. So
That's how
then
you know the
after-
difference between either smart and stupid or just they don't know what they're
hey,
doing.
hey, demons, it's me, your boy.
How's it going?
Well, in the same episode I did. But let me. I'll get to that one in a second. But at the end of the Sally House episode, they were doing I don't know, things that happened to them, effects and stuff, and they're all complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we don't know where this came from. Like, I do. You invited the damn thing in.
Yep.
It's like, come on.
I was laughing at the demon, the guy they had with them. It was he worked with Exorcists. Wasn't that what he said? And he had gone.
Oh yeah.
He went to, what did he call it? To Bible school
Ministry school.
Yeah,
Ministry school.
And I'm like, the guy's standing right there, and he doesn't even tell him.
Ministers school. That's what it was.
Yeah, like so he's sitting right
Yeah.
there, and he doesn't tell him it's a seminary.
Yeah.
And then,
Like,
and later, but where I was laughing the hardest was when he's going on about what demons can do, and then he goes, "But I don't believe in demons."
yeah.
Wait, this is a reverend?
No, it's the
No,
guy.
this is the guy on. I was referencing the Paranormal Files YouTube channel.
And these guys went to the Sally house, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
And he don't
Yeah,
believe in
they-
demons?
Yeah, well, no, that guy, the fake minister, as I call him, didn't go to the Sally house. This was at some dude's house in New Jersey, who I actually tried contacting because he's on TikTok, and all the stuff, complaining about all these activity that's going on in his house and all that. And I messaged him, I'm like, dude, you want this out? I can help you. Never heard from him. Never heard from him back, but it's called the possession of Maddie or something like that.
okay.
And the kid's not possessed. And if he is, I'm a monkey's uncle, but but they were talking about, this was before they started the investigation. They're already calling it a demon and this and that. And what I was talking about was the fact that a lot of paranormal investigators, the New Agers, are watching this stuff and thinking this is the right way to investigate.
Yep.
Now, total disclaimer here: when I first started 23 years ago, I thought Zach Bagans was the coolest. Yeah, this guy's taunting shit. All kinds, provoking and stuff. And I used to do that, and that's how I ended up getting my ass handed to me. Because I was doing that. So I tell everybody from experience, do not do what you see on TV, especially with Dak or any of these YouTube shows. Because these YouTube shows, they're in it for the money.
Yeah.
YouTube pays them to do this, which I think is wrong, but.
Now, I did mention in your show, when I messaged in your show, like when you were talking about Zach, we got called about that house. It was years ago. This was 2010,
Which house was
2011,
it?
the Demon House in Indiana.
Oh, Gary? And
Yeah.
Gary?
They called.
Oh, Gary, yeah.
They literally called me, and I remember because she said that something told her, like she was looking through Teams, and something told her to call me. And like I talked with her. The group was all up for it, and in the end, we just decided it just was way too far for us to go. And but we wanted to. It was we were very interested in going, but we just could not
That
go.
case. Oh my gosh.
Well, I've got even something funnier to tell you. Before they made that movie Demon House, I got called by them because I was part of the Ghost Adventure crew. Remember when that was a big thing?
Oh yeah, the GAC crew or whatever the hell it was called.
And
Yeah.
they asked me if I would like to, because I'm so close, if I wanted to be a part of it. And I said, yeah. And I told them, so funnily enough, we got called about that house. Well, then they got really interested. I guess the lady must have told them that, she remembered us or something. I don't know. But I got a call like, oh, well, we need to do an interview with you. Okay. And they're like, well, this is our plan. We're going to take a bunch of groups in and let them investigate with us. And this is what the movie's going to be about. Well, you see, that's not what it was about. And they were asking me, oh, well, what's your style of investigating and all this? And I said, well, I like to debunk things. If it's possible, if I can find a logical explanation, I like to do that. Never heard back from them. And then, of course, the whole style of that movie changed.
Yeah.
I heard.
Well, you know what it was? You know what it was? It was probably best for everybody that changed, because look at what happened to Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up having to demolish a house, didn't he?
Then he also has to wear glasses now, too.
Yeah, I think
he's also got to wear glasses. He's got some kind of I forget what he's got, but he's got some kind of like degenerative disease or something like that.
I think they followed him and did stuff.
Oh
to him.
yeah, well, everything follows Zach.
And he was stupid
He
and
is
locked
so
himself in the
over
house.
dramatic. Like, I seen an episode where all of a sudden he like started screaming, rolling on the ground. Something grabbed my leg. I'm like, I've had my leg grabbed. I don't act like that.
I've lost so much respect for him over the years.
Yeah. It's that show used to be great in the beginning, but as time went on, very over dramatized.
But the whole thing with Annabelle,
and then the whole thing with Nick Groff.
Yeah.
What happened there?
What, Annabelle or Nick Groff?
Nick Groff.
Oh yeah, they just
had a falling out, and
I haven't heard anything new on it. I just heard like he tried to stop Nick's show. That was all I heard, was that he tried
he stopped a lot of shows from what I heard. He stopped Destination Fear. He stopped Nick's show, because it's funny because the cast of Ghost of Shepherdstown, I'm friends with Mike and what's her face? I can't think of her name right now. The historian.
Mm-hmm.
And they all said that they were going to do a season 3. We're not, 3. But just out of the blue, that they said no, we're not doing it anymore. And when the whole thing with Nick Groff came out, when he went public with it, Bill Hartley went public with it as well and said the same thing that Nick said.
Mm-hmm.
That Zach had a big influence in the Travel Channel network, and he basically said whose show goes on the Travel Channel and whose doesn't, and anything Nick Groff did was what didn't make the cut because of Zach, basically. So that's why Nick went independent, and I guess he's doing better. I mean, I haven't heard. My Facebook page got hacked, so I'm still trying to get everybody back.
Yeah.
On Facebook, so I haven't really kept up with much lately.
I think it's funny. Whoever it was that hacked you they must have known me and knew that me and you talked a lot, because that page blocked me.
Did it really?
Yeah, that's how I knew something wasn't right. I went, man, where'd Dan go? But why am I blocked?
Yeah. Well, it was funny. It was funny because the day I went to the Defeating the Demonic event in Connecticut, and it happened that morning.
Yep.
The morning of, and I'm like, seriously? But I lost everything. I can't even get on my website. I can still get the emails and stuff, but I can't even get on my website now because my website was linked to my Facebook, and the host is giving me a hard time about it.
That's crazy.
So I'm just going to tell all my credit cards that, look, if you get a charge from this host, deny it, and just go with somebody else, because I'm getting fed up with it.
All right. Well, I think this would be a good time to stop on this one, guys. And so we'll be seeing you guys next week for Reverend Jamie McCaskill
and John Campbell.
And this has been Dan Todd. Dan, you want to tell them where they can find your information?
Well, you can find us on our website. The church's website is www.stbenedictanglicanchurch.net. The team's website, njghostdetectives.net. You can find me on Facebook, Reverend Dan Todd, SOSM. the church, St. Benedict Anglican Church, New Jersey Ghost Detectives, Order of Exorcists on Facebook.
And then you have a YouTube channel too.
I do. At Reverend Dan Todd is one of them. Hang on, I gotta find it here. Let me see. That's church hymns because I did a mass this morning. The other one is you can find me New Jersey Ghost Detectives at NJ Ghost Detectives 3857.
All right. So, and this episode was sponsored by the Order of Exorcists at orderofexorcists.com. Go check that site out, guys. And if you're interested in learning about how to be a demonic profiler for your team, I definitely recommend it. We definitely need more people. So, thank you all, and see you all next time.
Yeah.
Has it been since I left this place?